What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I just can't stop talking about the Dead Space remake. So I thought I would do a follow-up video to the one I made yesterday. I made a video kind of initially, actually, I recorded it probably 30 seconds after I ended the live stream talking about EA Play Live, but we got a bunch more details on the Dead Space remake that I probably will go over in this video. But the biggest thing that stands out was not what they said, but was what Jeff Grubb said. And, obviously, I think a lot of people at this point probably know who Jeff Grubb is. He gets pretty much everything he says right, at least at some point in his life. He's not always right, that's for sure, so you do have to take these things with a grain of salt. But directly after the trailer came out, he wrote on Twitter, he said, "Short teaser, I've heard the game looks incredible. We probably will hear more about it soon. It's a reboot/remake. It'll have elements from multiple entries in the series." And then he said soon, as in later this year, probably. And he also said, and the ongoing strong sales performance for Jedi Fallen Order really contributed basically to EA doing this. That would make sense, along with the RE remakes as well. And I think he actually said this before IGN posted their interview with the developers of the game, in which they go on to talk about, kind of some things that they're looking to put in the game from the future games, how they are going to be changing up a little bit of how the gameplay works, about how the story is, and the way they describe the story isn't as bad as I see all the headlines kind of making it out to be. I believe what they were saying is that they're going to try to do some like nods or almost even Easter eggs to things that are going to appear in future games, not literally redo the story of Dead Space. So to kind of make that clear, I was really happy with seeing the whole no loading times. That's one thing that they want to do. They want you to start the game literally from the beginning and go straight through the end without a single break in the immersion, which I think is awesome. But the Jeff Grubb thing is interesting because we talked about this in yesterday's video. When does the game release, with the game being talked about or with the game literally being a next gen only, or we really should be calling it current gen because we're living it right now. So the current gen systems, does that mean that it's 2023? Would they have said 2022 if they, thought that they could nail it? I don't know. But yet again, then he says, we may see, he says hear about it. I don't think interviews is really hearing about it. I think what he means is literally seeing it again. So that's me inferring. That could totally be wrong. But, is the Game Awards a possibility that maybe Jeff Keighley, another Jeff right out, but spelt differently, maybe he, has something in the works where we could see the first look at first look at gameplay, but I mean through like just an actual trailer. It's the Game Awards, if it would be there, he's not going to do like a 10-minute presentation for Dead Space. But see, that's the thing. In terms of what I'm thinking, I don't believe it comes out next year. I would say right now, wagering my prediction, I would say 2023. However, if they show, if they just did this, they did a very lengthy interview at IGN where they talk quite a bit about the game, and it sounds like it's very, it's not like they're just starting this. It very much sounds like they've been doing this for a while. And then if we see it again in another trailer, that would maybe be a mix of cutscenes along with gameplay, and obviously a little bit of CG to make the trailer pop, which I don't really think they need, by the way. But if that's what the trailer would be towards the end of this year, I don't know. I think 22, and he says probably, which obviously is not a 100% assurance that we'll see it again this year. But even if it moves, right? Mass Effect, when we thought we would see that versus when we did, Legendary Edition, was moved by a couple months. This game may or may not have been moved by a little bit. So even if the next reveal or the next showing is moved by a couple months, if you show it in early 2022, is this a fall 2022 game? I'm starting to think now, in terms of when I'm recording this like an hour after the other Dead Space video. It's funny how things can change in one's head, right? In terms of when you guys are seeing it, obviously it's a little bit later, but I'm not sold so much on it being 2023 anymore. I still think everything I said in that video is accurate. I would still say 2 years after the next gen consoles come out, I think it's more than acceptable to have a game only come out on them and not have to come out on last gen, especially if it's 2 years after. That's literally just the way the world works. It's how it's kind of always worked, and I don't really see a problem with it. So hopefully he's right. Again, he normally is. If he's not right, he's normally pretty close, or it's because of a delay or something like that. So I have a good feeling about it. I cannot wait to see more of it. And again, the details that kind of came out after the fact, which is a little annoying, to be honest with you. It's a little annoying because the trailer is good, but it's so short, and then we get all of this info directly after it. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, but they could have maybe done a developer interview during EA Play Live. I think that would have kind of been cool so that everybody, would have heard about it and learned about it at the same time. But still, lots of details, and they talked about no microtransactions. Again, the borrowing elements from the other games 2 and 3. There's a lot of good stuff in 2. There's not a lot of good stuff in 3, although the weapon crafting and customization is actually really good in 3. So if they want to borrow that, that would be more than fine. And then if they want to keep everything else the same, that would be awesome. But definitely built from the ground up. They talked about that quite a bit as well. This is not a remaster. This is not kind of just enhancing certain locations and certain things. This is literally, a lot of it is being built from the ground up based off of the original. So cannot wait. Hopefully it's a next year kind of game, and we'll go from there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If I ever see any additional news on Dead Space, I'll be sure to make videos on it. And as the next year or so goes on, I'll absolutely be covering it on this channel or the second channel. All my social media stuff is in the description. My Twitter, my second YouTube channel. We have a Patreon. We have a YouTube memberships. If you guys want to support us there, you get exclusive perks for doing that. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope to see you all on the next video.